Vande Krsna Foundation presents. Pranams from Vande Krsna Foundation. Welcome to our channel Vande Krsna. I am Sachidanand Vandana, and today we have with us Sachidanand Renu Modi. Mrs. Sachidanand, Mrs. Renu Modi.
Why are you calling me Sachidanand?
Oh, that's a good question. So my guru would say, supposing Renu Modi becomes the richest and most powerful woman on the planet, yet it is a perishable product, a disease and die, right? But Sachidanand means soul, and the soul level we are eternal and full of cosmic love and bliss, and at the soul level we are all one. That's why we've come here to learn in Mrityu Loka, that we are all one.
So true.
So true. But unfortunately, most of us don't live it. We're so caught in cutthroat competition, we forget this art of cooperation. That's what we are seeing has gone wrong with our society today. Anyways, Mrs. Renu Modi started Gallery Espace in 1989 in a small boardroom inspired by the famous painter M.F. Hussain. Now her gallery is a sprawling 3-floor space. She is known internationally for curating Indian art. And from a housewife to an internationally known art dealer, she has come a long way. Would you like to share some success tips for some of the youth who want to get to this business and set up their own galleries?
I think the young people get very enamored by the glamour of the art world. I would say one really has to have a passion and a commitment to arts to start a gallery or to get into the art business. If you really feel for arts, then also only one should get into it, because it's just not glamour, the art world, it's a lot of hard work.
Right. Would you like to share some memorable moments with some famous artists you worked with?
I've had a very enriched life. Many times my children have said, why don't you shut the gallery, because they look at from the money point of view, that art really is not making too much of money, but it is more a commitment, a passion by which I have always done for the last 3 decades. I opened in 1989, and now it's three decades when I have seen a sea change in the art world, which is like a 360 degrees. When I opened the gallery, there was really no art market as such. Artists, we had a very informal structure where we used to, like I would call up Hussain Saab or Ram Kumar or Manjeet Baba, who was my mentor, my guide, like my brother. It was a very give and take relationship. It was a very informal relationship where I used to just go and I didn't have any art history background, and I came up by actually sitting with these masters, and no gallerist in India really has this kind of an experience. And I learned art on the floor, sitting with them, watching them, looking at how they painted, or they would talk about the art practice that time that was happening around. Like with Manjeet, I used to go and sit with him at least twice or thrice a week and for hours. I started with Hussain Saab telling me to start a gallery, but then that went into my bloodline, and it became my second nature. So I used to go and sit with, I would actually go to Ram Kumar's studio and sit with him, go to Swaminathan's studio and sit with him, and actually listen to them and know more and more. And many people ask me, how do you collect, or how do you pick up these young artists who have now become so famous? I think it is my intuition, which is a very natural, intuitive way of picking up an artist who I think would be very good. Like recently I've just picked up one from Nepal who lives in Calcutta, and after many years I've kind of got convinced that this boy will do something. So I think it's all my memories of artists is like they're so innumerable that Vandana, it's so difficult for me to, when I start recalling or thinking about them, it's like, from where do I start? Like for instance, I would go and tell Swaminathan J. Swaminathan, who's no more, and all of them have gone. But it was about about the way he used the natural colors. He used to use mitti, he used to use haldi in his work. It's all these natural pigments he used in his work that made me realize that art can also happen with these natural pigments. And all he was, that time he started doing abstract works, and he was talking about all these tribal symbols. I got introduced to tribal art through J. Swaminathan. So, you know, and with Manjeet I got to know, I mean, so many aspects of art which I got to know or I understood was through these masters. Like Manjeet would tell me all about drawings, that how rounded his drawings are, or how he would do riyas, which now I find missing in the younger artists. Like I used to ask him, I said, "Aap kya karte hain at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning you get up?" That time he was staying near Gangaram, that side, and he would say that I sit and watch the crow sitting on the cow, and I would say, really? Because he used to do a lot of animal studies. So he said, यही तो मेरा रियाज है. अब हुसैन साहब आते थे, I met Hussain, and Hussain designed my house, so he was more a family than an artist, gallerist artist relationship with him. So in London once, this I hadn't started my gallery, but I learned art like that. We were doing this British Raj series for the Tatas, and I once asked him, what do you do sitting in the British Library in London? Because I would send him food every day. I would send him lunch, homemade by my cook, by whom we had taken, and he would say that this is my study, this is my riyaz, because I am finding all the content, reading about British Raj and what the British Library has. India doesn't have what happened during the British Raj. So I'm picking up my material by reading there. This is how I learned about art, that mehnat hoti hai. And so there's like with Manjeet Baba I would be doing this, with Swami I used to go, and so I learned different aspects of art. There was a very famous writer and a critic called K.K. Nair, who's no more, who was a critic for Hindustan Times. He taught me about art aesthetics, and from art aesthetics I got to know about the Navras and how the Navras help, or many artists take the guidance of all the Navras, or are actually influenced by the Navras, and about how tribal art and folk art and contemporary art, how they are kind of intertwined. So many things in art and in my journey of this mad journey which I am on to. People around me used to think I'm quite mad. My family used to think I'm quite mad.
You are mad. You're making a difference.
But art is a madness which cannot be explained, or it cannot be quantified in that way. So my children being small, they were in boarding school, so I had plenty of time, and through art I learned the other forms of art. I got to know more. My vista opened, my vision opened. It became so wide, and I'm actually all thanks to my husband, because he's been always a very silent supporter of me, and coming from a very conventional background, especially getting married into an industrial family when women never worked. So it was, I mean, my father-in-law would always think that, usko kara rahe hain because she's like, it's a hobby for her.
Right.
But this hobby soon turned into a very, very serious business for me. And now also I tell people that art is not just opening a shop. It's not a shop. It's a work where we gallerists are kind of working so hard. I mean, I'm already working for the coming 2 years as what we are planning, what we are doing. So it's going to artist studios, meeting my collectors, meeting all art related people, showing internationally, going to the fair. So there's coming out with publications. So it's like it's work. It's not just sitting and having a great time in the gallery.
Right. So sounds like a lot of hard work, but nothing can be achieved without hard work. So, could you share with our viewers some tips on art management and art valuation, and some for our modern viewers?
In India, actually, they're There are not very many. In fact, there are not any courses on art management, whereas in the West you have a whole lot of art management courses. There is one which was started, I do not know whether it continues, by Coach along with Max Miller. They had started this art management courses, which I think was very important for it. It's a call of the times these days. Art management, actually, again, what I said to you earlier, that you would really have to have a love for it, and you grow. I think you learn in art management, you learn more on ground. When you are like, I have so many people who have maybe done masters in some art form or masters in art history, but when they come to the practical side of art management, it's a very different thing. It's not, I think, for any arts management. It's not only fine arts, it's also for other art management. Like now in the world, you have sports management, you have so many other kinds of management, which I was very surprised to know that there's sports management. Children are doing sports management courses. Similarly, with art management, there are many like that. You can be a manager to an art manager to an artist, which is there in the West, which is not happening here. There's very few. There's a very informal relationship. There are one or two art managers, but they're very informally, because they're related or they are kind of connected with the artist in some way. So art management here has to be learned wherever you are, wherever you are employed, or if you are running. Though now in India, I must say that art management opportunities, or running institutions, running foundations, there are many more opportunities than even 5 years back or 10 years back. There are great opportunities, and many students are now coming forward. Youngsters are coming forward to then, like, we have this Kochi Biennale, where we have plenty of opportunities for young students or young people to go and experience how to manage this kind of a very large organization.